In the summer of 2015, I served as a teacher at a Catholic parish in Uganda. Uganda is on the east side of Africa, right on the equator. I taught Bible classes at a high school, and I taught physical education for a class of about 150 third graders. Father Joe, the parish priest, told me that most of these kids didn't know they were poor until they came to school. They come to school and learn they are poor. And the reason they learn they are poor is because they now have a comparison. They compare what they have with what other kids have, and when they see that the other kids have more, they realize they are poor. Comparison is inevitable. If you're an athlete, you compare yourself to other people playing your sports. If you're a musician, you compare yourself to other people playing your instrument. Comparison can show us areas where we need to improve. Sometimes comparison can show us when something is not quite right. When we compare people's wealth to other people's poverty, we can see that there's a problem. In our country, as of 2017, 38.5% of wealth was owned by 1% of the population. That means we have a small pocket of people who are enormously wealthy, a slightly larger group that is economically stable, and a large group that is struggling to make ends meet. I mean, how much money does one person really need? Do you really need to have 5 mansions, a private jet, and a yacht while other people are struggling to put food on the table? Jesus knew that people were obsessed with money. He told us that we cannot serve both God and money, and if we live our entire lives trying to gain more wealth, we are missing the points of life. In my generation, as we've seen our grandparents on their deathbeds, not one of them has said, "I wish I had spent more time at the office," or "I wish I had more money in my bank account." They've all said things like, "I wish I'd spent more time with my family. I wish I had seen more of the world. I wish I had had more experiences." So many of us live our lives serving money with the goal of adding wealth to our bank accounts at whatever cost. Jesus shows us another way. He shows us that it's better to give than to receive. He tells us that it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven. This is because the rich are often consumed with themselves. And because they have no economic worries, they go through life just relying on themselves instead of relying on God and relying on the community. Jesus shows us that we should not be hoarding wealth, that whatever we receive is for the good of all people, not just us. The church teaches a preferential option for the poor, which means that all of our economic policies and our teachings should always be favorable to those who are poor, to lift them up and provide them with the resources they need. Yet our country has a preferential option for the rich that allows those who are wealthy to continue adding to their wealth, while the poor are left to fend for themselves. If we are truly Catholic, if we are truly following Jesus Christ, we must always strive to lift up the poor. We are called to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, care for the injured. This is why the church has built so many orphanages, schools, hospitals, food pantries, soup kitchens. This is why someone like St. Francis of Assisi would renounce his family's wealth to serve the poor and live among them. Why St. Teresa of Calcutta would spend her life ministering to the sick and the outcast. We build the kingdom of God not by amassing wealth, but by using what we have to help those in need. Now please read the material below and answer the reflection questions. Have a great week.